Today we are going to be discussing collecting, graphing, and analyzing data. First, we are going to discuss the steps on collecting data. To begin, you need to come up with a question you want answered. Then, you need to create a way to answer your question, either by asking your friends, asking your teammates, or asking your classmates. Finally, you ask your question to the group you chose. Quick hint, to keep your data organized, keep it in a chart. So, as an example, we're going to ask the question, what is your favorite color of the rainbow? Once you have your question, you are going to decide what group you are going to collect data from. For this example, we're going to use your classmates. Once you've decided the question you're going to ask and who you're going to be asking the question to, you go around and collect your data. To keep your data organized, you put it into a data chart. This data chart represents the answers that you received from your classmates. We have 6 kids who love the color red, 1 child who loves the color yellow, 1 who loves the color orange, 4 who love the color green, 6 who love the color blue, 1 who love the color indigo, and 2 who love the color violet. Next, we are going to explore how to take the data that we've collected and turn it into a graph. With graphing, there are 3 types of graphs we're going to be looking at. First one's a bar graph, the second one's a line graph, and the third one's a pictograph. For the first graph that we're going to look at, we're going to look at a bar graph. This is what a rough sketch of a bar graph looks like. When you do your own work though, make sure you're extremely accurate. A couple of things to remember. First, don't forget to label your y-axis. Remember, your y-axis goes up the paper. Next, don't forget to label your x-axis. Also, your x-axis cuts across the paper. And finally, before you turn your graph in, don't forget to label your title. The last graph that we'll be taking a look at today is a pictograph. Pictograph is a graph that uses pictures to represent the numbers or the data that you've collected. Don't forget that for a pictograph, you always need a key. For this graph, we used a key that looks like this. A whole person equals 10 students, whereas a half of a person equals 5 students. Let's go back to our example of our classmates' favorite rainbow color. For this collected data, we can use either a bar graph or a pictograph. We can't use a line graph for this data because we are comparing data that does not represent a. As you can see, we have graphed our examples data of our classmates' favorite rainbow color in a bar graph. You take a close look, you can clearly see that there are 6 students who like the color red, and only 1 student who likes the color yellow. You also take note, we've labeled our y-axis, number of likes, our x-axis, the color, and we've given our graph a title. As you can see, we have graphed our examples data of our classmates' favorite rainbow color in a bar graph. You take a close look, you can clearly see that there are 6 students who like the color red, and only 1 student who likes the color yellow. You also take note, we've labeled our y-axis, number of likes, our x-axis, the color, and we've given our graph a title. Now that we've collected and graphed our data, we need to learn how to read it or analyze it. Analyzing data is how we read or interpret the data. When we analyze and interpret data, we can answer questions like how many more, and what our sample total is. So let's go back to our example of our classmates' favorite rainbow color. To analyze this, we're going to ask a series of 3 questions. Question 1. How many students' favorite rainbow color is green? Question number 2. How many more students liked the rainbow color red to indigo? And question number 3. How many students are represented in the graph? Now let's check our answers. For question 1, how many students like the color green? The answer is 4 students liked the color green. For question 2, how many more students like the color red to indigo? The answer is 5 more students liked red to indigo. For question number 3, how many students were represented in the data? The answer is 25. We get this by adding up each answer, so 6 for red, 1 for yellow, 1 for orange, 4 for green, 6 for blue, 1 for indigo, and 2 for violet, which equal 25.